Welcome to this special episode of the Angus Report. Today we're talking about small giants.
We want to create an environment where people say, we're taking ownership of our communities again. We're taking ownership of our companies. We are going to do business aligned with our values. We're not going to accept bigger, faster, cheaper is the only way. We're going to be profitable, but we are going to run our companies and our lives and our relationships in a way that brings honor to our deepest values and our highest aspirations.
The bigger isn't always better philosophy is gaining steam in rural America, where both agriculture and non-ag-related operations are choosing to be great instead of big.
Leaders and entrepreneurial students are here in Lincoln, Nebraska to explore these concepts and share ideas and gain inspiration.
So join us for the Great Plains Small Giants Conference.
Our morning starts with Ben Halverson, a University of Nebraska student and born entrepreneur pursuing his dream.
I grew up in Papillion, Nebraska, and I was taught the value of hard work at a pretty young age and taught that if I wanted something, I need to go out and get it for myself. And so just going out and taking a risk and seeing what you can get done when you really bite off a chunk and you're forced to deal with it. One of the most difficult parts about pursuing this entrepreneurial career is that you have to learn a lot about yourself to be able to partner effectively with people, and you really can't get together with somebody and work on something as a team if you don't know who you are and therefore understand who they are and be able to really work together one-on-one. I'll be graduating here in May, and I'll be doing an internship over the summer and then heading out to DC for a year and just building a foundation basically for the rest of my career.
The reality in American business today is that there's a lot of publicity and a lot of hoopla around those that get big fast, sell out at big ticket items. This is a different approach, not just about how big I can get or how much money I can make, but what's my impact when I do that? And so the book, Small Giants, took a look at a bunch of companies. There were these companies that were privately held where when you walked into the organization, something was different. People were happier, they were more engaged, they felt like they were owners, they behaved like owners of the organization. Companies that were really good at that had great leadership, they were passionate, were people who were really involved in their community, a company that understood not only their impact internally but externally. Folks who valued their relationships with vendors and suppliers and customers, and most certainly with employees and team members, and that wanted to be profitable. And the small giant philosophy is not constrained to any one industry. It's not constrained to a size of company. It's not constrained to a region of the country or even to the United States itself. It's a global way of looking at the world. Small giant farmer ranch. I think about our family business. I care deeply about what happens to our manager and his wife. I care deeply about what happens to our employee and his family. And I care deeply about how our business impacts the community that we grew up in. That's the small giant model.
And we want people ultimately to realize that the business is not here to serve the customer first. We're here to serve you as the employee. Our business exists to enhance the lives of the people that work in it. And when we do that, that's going to drive customer loyalty. That will ultimately drive profit into our business.
We're continuing our coverage of entrepreneurship in rural America here at the Small Giant Conference in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I'm really thrilled to have with me one of the keynote speakers here, Paul Spelman, who's going to share a little bit about what he shared with the audience this morning. So Paul, why don't you give us just some of your background and what you're doing here today?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur, someone that had a business for many years, almost 30 years. And a number of years ago, I became infatuated with this book I read called Small Giants, Companies That Choose to Be Great Instead of Big, back in 2007. And I really identified with it. And it's a philosophy today that I've taken on to form a community of business leaders who want to be great, not just big, and allows us to communicate with each other, mentor each other, and help grow our businesses in a special way.
And so what makes a business a small giant?
Well, what we say is that small giants would never really admit that they are. They're too humble to do that. In the book that was written by Bo Burlingham, he came up with 6 qualities of a small giant. People that know who they are, what they want out of business and why as leaders. They're involved in their community. They have really unique cultures that focus on employees as the key driver to their business and their profit. They focus on multiple relationships, not just customers, not just an investor or the owner, but to make sure that everyone gets value out of the business. They're very passionate for what they do, which I know matters a lot in the businesses that you guys are in. But they also run profitably, because if we don't run profitably, if we don't run our business as a business, it's going to be hard to continue to invest in the growth of the business and in the people that are in our business and help them grow.
Very good. And that focus on people, I think, is something that really goes a long way in agriculture and farming and ranching. And so oftentimes where there'll be family members maybe working together and passing that on. What type of advice would you give to that audience about building and continuing to grow their operations?
Business is hard, particularly family business or multi-generational businesses. I started my business with my 2 brothers. Didn't take it from our dad, but I know what that's like, and that can be really hard, dysfunctional, yet the best partners you could have are people in your family. What I think is important to remember is that we have to take what we do best, and we have to make choices every day on how we focus our time. We like to say it's not what we do, it's who we are. And that we sell not the product or service, but we sell who we are as a company. And certainly farmers and people in middle America, rural business, they're the heart of American business anyway. And we've got that going for us. So how do we put these small things in place to help our people grow within the business?
Employment is not your only option.
I don't really want to work in a cubicle when I graduate.
So often public education shapes you into be this well-rounded person so you can get a job. You can create a job. You can create a job for yourself and people in your community around you.
There's something so much more amazing when you can have the opportunity to not only to be your own boss, but to build relationships in a community and also build something that you have values in.
Originally, when I started this program, I thought it meant you had to start a business and just be starting businesses your whole life. Entrepreneurship is a mindset of always challenging the status quo, always looking for a better way to do things.
By being in entrepreneurship, you kind of fill that gap and you really discover who you want to be, what you want to do, and overall what your real purpose in life is.
The Angus Report is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the makers of Safeguard Cattle Dewormer. Healthy cattle perform better. Add Safeguard, add pounds. Contact your veterinarian or animal health supplier today.
Have you discovered self-deworming cattle products? All the benefits of an effective deworming without all the labor, handling, and stress. Discover Safeguard self-deworming cattle products, ask your local animal health provider, or visit safeguardcattle.com for more information.
Apex Cattle's Heterosis Headquarters annual bull and heifer sale is Monday, April 4th, selling 90 powerful Angus and Sim Angus bulls plus 80 beautiful heifers ready to breed. Angus offering is 100% ET by Keneally Capitalist. Sim Angus bulls are sired by Barstow Cash, Hoover Dam, and the popular Cowboy Cut, and loaded up Simmental sires. Sale on Superior starting at 1 p.m. Monday, April 4th at Huss Livestock Auction in Kearney, Nebraska. Heterosis, don't be in business without it.
Did you know that your checkoff works to safeguard beef's image and reputation? There's lots of noise on the internet, but did you know the checkoff uses the website factsaboutbeef.com to tackle myths? Did you know factsaboutbeef.com also shares stories about beef production? While you're focused on managing your beef business, your checkoff is busy protecting the image of your industry and your end product. Get to know your checkoff at mybeefcheckoff.com.
44 farms are registered Angus breeder. In Central Texas, we market about 1,600 bulls a year. The silencer is vital to our operation. The neck bars on the silencer chute are excellent for restraining the bulls for giving shots. Those big bulls get to swinging their head around and it's really hard to hold them. and those neck bars work excellent. We've had it for 7 years and it's been great the whole time. So at the end of the day, there's less stress and you're happier and the cattle are happier. Just makes for a better work environment.